Hello, hello, hello. I'm Christy Abel, and I'm super excited to share this crash course in human design with you. But before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate that I'm coming to you from the traditional land of the Sawasan, Musqueam, and Coast Salish people. I feel so grateful to be able to live, work, play, and learn here. Haichka. But first, do you know your human design energy type and body graph chart? If you don't, this will make a lot more sense to you if you pause the video now, go to jovianarchive.com, get your body graph, and come back. Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, in this video, you will learn the basics. Remember, this is a basic overview of human design. There are lots and lots of wonderful YouTube videos out there already that can delve deeper into all of this. This actually isn't a human design channel, it is a tarot channel. But I think it's really important that you understand perhaps where I am coming from. So today I'm going to do a basic overview of energy type, strategy, sign, not self theme, profile, authority, and incarnation cross. And then we'll wrap it up with how can we use tarot to help with fulfilling our human design. Okay, so what is it? Okay, so first of all, the most important thing to me was that it was a blend of science and spirituality. I was an atheist and agnostic for almost my entire life. And then about 4.5 years ago, I had my spiritual awakening. And now I am all about source, the universe, the quantum field, God, however you want, whatever floats your boat in terms of how your higher power is expressed. I'm going to use source and the universe pretty interchangeably, but just use whatever fits for you. Okay, so human design assembles the principles of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the Hindu-Brahmin Chakra System, astrology, and quantum physics. I love quantum physics. I'm not a physicist, so I only have a layperson's understanding of it, but I love how it is validating so much of what the metaphysical community has known for thousands of years. So, but I love it because I still, I struggle going left brain, right brain. But my right brain development is something that's been a struggle, anyways. But it's something that is ongoing. But it's where my expansion happens. So heck yeah. And human design was a huge part of this. So I first discovered human design about 3 years ago. And for the whole first year, all I knew was I was a manifester and that I was supposed to inform. And a whole year, and it basically took away my imposter syndrome about doing something like this. Like, who am I to have a YouTube channel? Who am I to tell others what I know? Well, I've been a teacher and a counselor for most of my adult life, so it was already pretty ingrained. But I digress. Okay. Your chart is also called a body graph, and you'll need your birth date, place, and time to do it. I find that a lot of people struggle with the time. If you can kind of get it within an hour or two, I mean, the planets move, but they don't move that fast, right? So, according to our perception on Earth. So, it's important, yeah, to your best guess is good. Some people use a pendulum. Some people, I had a friend who ordered her birth certificate so that I could do her human design chart. So she just had to wait a little while. Anyways, the moment that you came into this world, this time around in this human body, the universe put a stamp on you. Now, I'm not going to go through what that is. Again, deeper dives elsewhere. But basically, it's like this is who you are. And here's a manual of how you are to live your life accordance to what the universe wanted for you. Right. So it's unique to everyone. Unless you were born at exactly the same time in the same place, at the same, maybe at the same hospital as somebody else, right? So there are going to be some overlap, but for the most part, most of us are very unique in our design. And it gives us this manual about how to live in sync with universal energy rather than who you've been socially conditioned to be. So a huge part of my practice and my spiritual development is about untangling that social conditioning that we are all given, whether it's by our families, our friends, our society as a whole. We are full of a lot of other people's junk, and some of it is useful. Don't get me wrong, but not everybody's meant to be a doctor, if you know what I mean, right? So, anyways, I'll delve into that a little bit more when I talk about the different energy types, because of course, we all bring different sets of skills and gifts to this wonderful symbiotic oneness that we have on this planet. Um, but it's important that you know when it comes from you or if it's come from outside of you. Okay, here's the basics of the body graph. Okay, we've got this is my body graph, just FYI. So your energy type, I am indeed a manifester. And again, learning that made my whole life make sense. I waited what 44 years to find out, but as soon as I did, hot damn, did we ever make a big shift. Okay, then your strategy is how you make things happen. Your sign is how it's a feeling in your mind, body, spirit of how you know that you're like you're living, you're in tune with your design. And then your not self is the complete opposite of that. It's like how you know you're out of your design. Your authority, which is how you should make decisions. Crazy story. When I was first, discovering my spiritual side, I started with, like Deepak Chopra, basically like exhausted all of his free stuff over the course of 3 months or 6 months. Then I found Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks is all about like following your feelings and anyways, they say the same thing over and over again in thousands of different ways. And I really delved into Abraham and started, law of attraction, all that kind of stuff, manifesting on purpose. Fantastic. But I started using my emotions as a guidance, right? Like as my emotional guidance instead of my logic. And guess what? Turns out I'm an emotional authority. So no wonder it worked for me, but only about 50% of people are. So Abraham really only works for 50% of the people for the most part. There's lots of other wonderful things to garner from that. So don't stop listening or watching Abraham on my account because I still do. Anytime I actually want a little boost, sometimes I'm like, I just want a little dose of Abraham. I always end up feeling good. Okay, so then we have your profile, which is your personality type, and your incarnation cross, right? So that is your overarching life theme, your life's purpose. Okay, and of course, like I said, there's many more details, but these are the ones that are here on our Jovian archive, and so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, energy type. It's basically how your energy functions. So it's somewhat like remember how I said that I found out I was a manifester? That was my energy type. I did some research on what it was like to be a manifester. I went, oh my, this is so me. And just like I'm a Gemini. Okay, so I'm a Gemini I'm a Gemini sun sign. I'm also a moon and a Venus. Oh my goodness, I'm so Gemini. So guess what? Girl likes to talk. And it's a good thing my strategy is to inform because those two things go like peas in a pod. Okay, so it's like, so your energy type is like your sun sign in that, like, it's the most obvious one, right? And it's arguably the most important part of your chart, and it's what other people will recognize in you. So just like maybe I did, is the first thing that maybe you go, okay, because human design can be a little overwhelming when you're like, oh, I've been doing it wrong my whole life. Just change one little thing at a time. That's my challenge to you, right? Is just to do one little thing at a time and then test it and then see there's the science part of me. I like make your hypothesis, no, but then test it and then see how it works out and then reflect and then see what you want to change, right? So I would say though, looking at your energy type is the easiest place to start with that. So again, we are all designed to bring different gifts to this world. So we all need different ways of functioning. So human design is about the individual. So the more we learn about it as a whole, like I've done charts for all the people that I care about in my household because as a manifester, I communicate differently than the three generators that I live with, right? My two kids and my partner are generators. And when I found out how to talk to them in their generator language, wow, did it really, really like smooth things out in our house. Also, I will recognize that I'm probably the most difficult person to live with in the house. Anyways, so when we learn more about others, we can then collaborate and then be more connected as a species. So human design can actually help us raise the vibration of the planet. How amazing is that? Okay, so let's talk energy types. So everybody's got one specific one. All right, we've got our generators. Okay, that's about 38% of the population. Now, depending on who you ask, these numbers will shift around, but these ones all add up to 100, and I like it. Okay, so generators respond, and they are here to build. Okay, I have 5 other videos that I will link below, each one about 20 minutes on each of the energy types. So once you know which one you are, or you know you want to look up your partner or your one of your parents or kids or your best friend, doesn't matter, right? Or your worst enemy, I don't know. Like you can look up their chart and then see where they're coming from, right? Manifesting generators. Many of my friends are manifesting generators. And 32%, they are here to build. They build and they're here to find shortcuts to mastery. Many gens are able to master a lot of stuff in one lifetime. Then we have manifestors at 9%. We are here to initiate. I cannot tell you how many downloads I get a day about ideas. I have to be very selective about which ones I pursue, but this channel is one of those. It was like I'd been studying human design for about 3 years. I was resistant to the tarot because it seemed like a lot of work. And then I was like, once I realized that it tells a story, and I use a narrative therapy as a part of my counseling practice, I was like, oh, this is a great fit. So I have done some deep dives, and we're going to use the two together. I think I'm the first person on the planet to do that. So that's really exciting to me. And I'm super happy to have initiated it. All right, then we have our projectors, 20%. They guide the response. They're here to direct others. Projectors actually make really great bosses because they are constantly looking at ways to improve things. And then we have our reflectors, our one percenters. They are here to reflect. So they actually mirror the rest of us for assessment. So very, very interesting. Strategy. Okay, so your strategy is the primary way in which you manifest like the intangible into physical reality. When I was first teaching in the esoteric space, I focused on manifestation because, like I said at the very beginning, I needed tangible. I needed things to like happen for me in order for me to believe that there actually was this like incredible source of love, energy, generosity, and abundance that we get to tap into. So, manifestation is very near and dear to my heart. And human design actually taught me beyond the basics of being, like a specific manifester as somebody who can like vision boards are for people who are specifics. I'm actually a non-specific, and as an A type, I'm a non-specific passive manifester. And like so I have to like give up control. And as someone who's been rewarded over and over and over again in their life for like planning things out and achieving goals and doing all this stuff, the giving up my power to source energy um, has been a difficult shift. But I tell you what, hot damn, it's working. Okay, so society has taught us that the best way to get what we want is to work long, hard hours, to dedicate yourself to your work, sacrifice ourselves, and follow society's rules. Now, that is actually going to work for some people in the human design system, but it's certainly not a universal rule. So your strategy is shows you a way that you can attract with a lot more ease and faster and way more fun than the cultural norm. So if you're a generator, you respond. If you're a manifesting generator, you also respond. If you are a manifester, you inform. Like right now, I'm informing. I'm living my design right now. Projectors wait for the invitation, and reflectors are carried. Your sign. Your sign is the feeling that you get when you're acting in accordance with your human design. So when you feel it, you're going to feel it in your mind, body, and spirit. And when you feel your sign, you know you're onto something good. Okay. It's like the universe is like, more, please. Yes, please. Let's go. And here's some tools for it. And here's some energy for it. And here's some gifts for it. Okay. And so it wants you to keep going in that direction. And again, this is going to be different for everybody in terms of those individual choices that we make. whether it's pursuing, maybe you feel great when you're pursuing an education in accounting. Maybe that, right? Like, that's so not for me. But if that's for you, that's for you versus writing songs, right? Or playing the guitar. What doesn't matter. Okay. So if you are a generator, your feeling is going to be satisfaction. MGs also going to be satisfaction. Manifestors is peace. Okay, so girl chases peace, right? Or I don't chase it, but I recognize when it's there and I'm like, okay, I'm in alignment. Right now I feel very peaceful. You can feel peaceful and excited at the same time. It's okay. It's this like inner sense, right? Okay, projectors are success. And for reflectors, it is surprise. Your not self theme. This is the opposite of your sign. And it is when you are acting and feeling and thinking not in accordance with your human design. And its purpose is to show you that you're out of alignment. Basically, so source, when you are in your sign, source is like a tap, right? And it's flowing and you're good and you're in the flow and you feel good and la la la. When you're not self, that tap gets shut off. The universe is like, oh no, nah, I'm not playing this game. Oh no. So it shuts off the tap. And one thing to ask yourself is how long do I want that tap off for, right? So it's great. So basically it's a sign to like redirect you. It's saying you're in the wrong, not only in the wrong lane, you be going in the wrong direction, okay? So it needs you to course correct. So when you feel these ways, it's time to assess, to number one, notice, assess, take the information that is giving you because it's valuable, and then shift your focus. Whatever you focus on, you get more of. So if you're having a terrible day and all you can think about is how you're having a terrible day, guess what? You're going to continue having a terrible day. Okay. So one of the most wonderful things about being human is that we have free will choice, right? And we can control our thoughts. Okay, well, here's some little psychology and counseling popping up. Again, this is kind of stuff that's going to come up in the tarot. But it's like you have the choice. So your thoughts affect your emotions affect your behavior. So if you change your thoughts, you'll change your emotions and you'll change your behavior. Oh, it's amazing. I can't wait. So many people in the tarot are afraid of the swords, but I ain't afraid of no swords, yo, because these are things that we can change, right? It's wonderful because all sorts of thoughts, right? And I can't wait. I can't wait to even address some mental health issues with and through the tarot. But the spirit will tell me. The spirit will tell me through the cards when it's time to talk about what. Okay, so if you're a generator, your not self theme is frustration. If you are a manifesting generator, is also the same. So I talk about the differences between these in the other videos that I made for each energy type. Manifestor, it's anger. Oh yeah, it's anger. I don't yell, but I certainly do feel anger. It just shows itself. It rears its ugly head in other ways for me. Projectors are bitterness, and reflectors are disappointment. Your profile. Okay, so this is a shift. So all of those other ones, if you're curious for more of a bit of a deeper dive into those things, all of the previous things that I was just talking about, those components of the chart, they're all common for each energy type. So I do have, again, they're about 20 minutes. And I will link them below if you want to learn more about your energy type. But also, if you want a deeper dive, like I said, there's lots of other YouTubers out there. I'm really delighted at how the human design space has really grown in the last couple of years. And it's well, I think it's because it validates who people are, right? It's amazing. Okay. It's also, again, static, doesn't change. So it's, yeah. If you find that one of the YouTubers doesn't really like float your boat, then just pick it up. That's what I do. Okay, so your profile is your personality type, and each profile is going to be made up of two numbers. So I am a 4-6, and my partner Ben is a 5-1. So the first number describes the way you see yourself. The second number will describe the way others see you. So 4 is a people person, and that is very, very true. I love to work with people. I especially like to work with young people. That's the major components of my practice is young people. And then the 6 is the wise sage. So other people see me as a wise sage, which is very helpful in the kind of work that I do, including this, right? Okay. And this is going to be similar to your sun and rising, right? So the sun sign represents your sense of identity, self, and ego. And for example, like the quality of my life is really dependent on the quality of my relationships. And so as a result, I work a lot in maintaining really healthy boundaries in my relationships, right? And then the rising ascendant is how you project yourself to others. So that's the six. So the wise sage for me, so, for example, my sun, so I said before, my sun sign is Gemini, but my rising is Taurus. And once I started delving more into astrology and understanding the rising sign, my life made more sense. So, human design, astrology, the Myers-Briggs system, all of these, a personality quiz, whatever. They're all of these just different ways of learning to understand yourself and the people around you. And isn't that just wonderful? I love personal development and I love interpersonal relations. So it's all a really good fit for me. And I hope it is for you too. Okay, your authority. This is your decision-making tool, and most of us have been conditioned to make all of our decisions up here, right? Like use logic, use reasoning. And there, of course, there is a certain value to that. But in human design, that's actually not the case for most people. Like most people should not be doing that. So about 50% of the population is emotional. I have an emotional authority. And like I mentioned with the Abraham Hicks stuff, as soon as I started making decisions with my authority, wow, stuff started changing so much. And I learned to trust myself more rather than like thinking things through. And I'd go with like, oh, I was like, well, this feels good. I'm going to move towards it. This doesn't feel good. I'm going to move away from it. And I didn't argue. I stopped arguing for my limitations, right? Like there's a whole bunch of different things that we can do. We've got the sacral or gut. That is exclusively for generators and manifesting generators. And that is them learning to really I mean, we all really, really need to tune in and develop our intuition. It is there for a reason. And, but the sacral, that gut, yeah. Oh, anyways, again, I dive into this later in the, both of those videos. We've got splenic, we've got your self-projected or G center, we've got the ego and heart. We do have our environmental. This is that logic and reasoning, but this is a very small part of the population. And then lunar. Lunar comes with our reflectors who are often for big decisions, they should actually wait a whole lunar cycle before they really commit to something big. Not something like, what to order off the menu for dinner. Like, you can't wait 28 days for that. The restaurant might have a problem with that. But for big things, they really need to do the lunar authority. Your incarnation cross. Okay, so this is your overarching life theme or life's purpose. It describes the main energy you're meant to bring to everything that you do. So mine is literally to bring my spiritual gifts to others using my natural enthusiasm. Like, okay, so I'm doing it, right? Like I'm following instructions, right? Which for a manifester is hard, but when it serves you and rewards you so much, like it's easy to keep doing it. And it's not just in your work or in making a YouTube video. It's supposed to be across like all of your life. Work, play, leisure, parenting, your relationships, all that kind of stuff. It's this general energy that you are to bring. So when I dropped my judgment about being like I was like a card carrying atheist for half my life. And then around, I don't know, around 25, I think, I was like, "Oh, maybe I should hedge my bets," but like I don't really know. And it turns out like I wasn't against like a higher power. I didn't like dogma. I was like, "I'll take a hard pass on the guilt and shame, thank you very much." And so when human design came around, which I guess in and of itself is a kind of dogma, it's just one that I really click with. So I've found my guidance, right? But there's so much like room for interpretation that anyways, doesn't matter. So when you're living in this, it's like a signal to the universe of like, oh, it's go time. Like, okay, you get it. You're doing what it wanted for you. Again, rather than what you've been trained to do by society or your family or all that kind of stuff. So when you are living in your life's purpose, this is when you are going to attract, right? All toward you the most like you this is when your vibe is going to attract your tribe. This is when the synchronicities, oh, okay, synchronicities. I love them. I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in coincidence. I do believe in attraction and I do believe in synchronicities. And as when we follow these breadcrumbs of synchronicities and say thank you, grateful for them, it like the whole thing, it just like the flow just like opens and it is incredible because guess what? You're being the person that you came here to be. Okay, so why use tarot? All right, so I've kind of dipped into this a little bit already, but human design, it is this wonderful map and manual about how to use your body's consciousness as this decision-making tool, right? And how to be in alignment, but it's static, right? It doesn't change. But the one like constant in our living our life is change and death and taxes, right? But so it's helpful to have regular guidance from spirit. And this is where me and spirit and the tarot and psychology and human design are all here to help decode this, right? Because tarot is a map of the energy that is happening right now. And of course, it can help with all sorts of things, but not limited to reflection and self discovery, problem solving, clarity on emotions, future insights. I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you found value in what I have taught about today, you know what to do.